From servers to systems to this place. Welcome back. I'm not from Mainframe. I don't know what gave you that idea. It's time for another mod of the Mario. That's right. How right is it though? I'll tell you how right it is. Well, it's classic Mario World 2, the Great Alliance definitive version. What's different about it being definitive? Mostly a lot of level polishing. I mean, it's not ultimately perfect, but the difficulty got polished a chunk ton. So that's about as much as I can say about that. A lot of the secrets are easier to get to. Even like the last parts of the game are easier now. It's basically enough that I could just like recommend it to anyone offhand now. Like it's like I said, it's gonna be rough, but all the edges got like buffered out.
Grr, that silly plumber, he is so annoying.
What happened to your lower jaw, Bowser?
Grr, every time I scheme something, he always screws up my plans.
No Jack Black impressions here.
Don't worry, Master, I know exactly who we call to help us. Excellent. Together we will be a great alliance and we will defeat him.
Mario, after his last defeat, Bowser out of Kamek, Orc, and Big Boo to defeat us. Can't let them take over the Mushroom Kingdom. Oh, shit. And we will fight all of them. Although it's mostly an excuse plot to use, like, other assets, such as Warp. And Big Boo is easy to import in any part of the game anyway, so that's not it's not a huge surprise, but yeah. And Kamek's already subservient to Bowser anyway, so that's not really something he had to worry about in regards to the Alliance, you know what I mean? Kamek's like, yay, I get to be more important, even though I kind of already was. Well, as an individual, rather than as a group of Magic Koopas, right? Got some Final Fantasy IV music.
The classic Green Hills, which sound somewhat like Super Mario RPG.
Even though I'm not covering that game. At least I get all the remnants of the other games I'm not playing. Don't forget, you can save anytime. That's good. Wouldn't have to worry about that. What things today? Oh, it's got a lot of fixing things around the house. Mostly. But now I want to do more of this. I wanted to do it before. I've been going through the stuff. Now I know what I want to do more of. This. Take that. Take the mushroomy. Let's see, is there any... Not really any new gameplay elements. It wouldn't be classic Mario World otherwise. And you might think, oh yeah, I'll get all the dragon coins. One, no, not if they're really obsessively out of the way, which can happen a number of times for me. And two, not every level is all the coins or has the right number of coins. Just like in the original game. Wow! Yep, it's gonna just eject you out of the pit. I was just looking in the classic Mario World 3, by the way, and yeah, the level layout of that's similar to, and I'll just... That one's actually a lot smoother than the first two, incidentally, even though you kind of have to get all dragon coins. A sign of a good Mario ROM hack is when I actually have the invincibility star to screw around with. Although I can understand why a lot of people take it out, because it's just like, oh man, this ruins the platforming, yeah, I get it. Or they put it only in situations which would render it useful, like compared to everything else, such as a shit ton of enemies occurring, or a bunch of munchers you have to walk on, stuff like that. Make it more of a utility item, I'm sure. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there's a lot of 1-ups to collect too. Like, so many 1-ups, I'll have 99 in no time. I almost want to say it's a decent enough challenge to see if you can find every possible 1-up. Not including when you get 100 coins. Maybe including the dragon coins. I'm going to say yes to that. But not necessarily. Yeah, but yeah, there's just a lot of hidden blocks that have 1-ups in them. Somehow I've managed to run into most of them by pure chance. But many of them are fairly intuitive. We're just like, oh yes. Like, coins tend to mark things. I guess not in this case. Or I should have been able to go up, but... Oh, okay. There we go.
Use my old pick up the shell on the vine trick.
Like there. See, that made sense. You think there'd be nothing there, then you go up and you're like, ah, yeah. So that's an intuitive enough hidden one up for me. I didn't really need to look that up at all, of course. The only thing I looked up was just the overworlds, just so I could keep track of exit numbers. There's 120 exits in all. Just like how there's 120 stars in a typical Mario 64 game. How nice is that? Flooded tunnels. Everyone knows World 1-2 has got to be underground, but this time around we got the water inside. And yeah, typical World 1 syndrome. This place is just inordinate plains. You better find them all, or I'll come get you, player. Oh yes, that's another thing I neglected to mention. If you just hold up and shoot, your fire goes upwards. Why is that useful? I guess kinda. It gives you more options as aiming. That's it. I find ways to make it work. Mostly in terms of if there's something right above me, for sure. Point blank Mario Fireball action. I don't know what this music is. I'm gonna assume something of Squares. Kind of has that vibe. A lot of Final Fantasy music was used. A lot of, yeah. There's some Sonic music used. There's plenty of Donkey Kong Country music used, and there's a few Crash Bandicoot tracks because the username who made this modification is named Bandicoot, just like the first one. So, surprise, you're gonna get some Crash Bandicoot references, which is hastening my need to do a Crash Bandicoot one set. Just between you and me, I kind of had that planned out already. Just hadn't got around to it yet. Mostly because, well, it has to do with the nature of disc games that I hadn't gone into yet, which is just in terms of, well, loading for one thing, because stuff back then was all about the loading screen, right? And is that an essential part of the game? I don't know, like, I've seen one emulator for like the Amiga do that, where it actually emulates all the physical loading sounds as if that's part of the experience. I'm like, I don't know if that's acceptable. Like, I kind of want to just bypass that part entirely. Another thing is Crash Bandicoot is kind of the first one. I mean, the first one is kind of not as good as the other two in terms of not just level design, but really mostly saving. You know, in order to save, you have to do this particular thing, which they correct in the Trilogy Remaster, incidentally. So you have that to try if you've never played Crash Bandicoot before. Just go get that trilogy, you'll be fine. But I did pretty much plan it all out, so I mean, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time before I do it. And Crash Bandicoot 2. Like, I've pretty much got that sorted out. Also. Not so much Crash Bandicoot 3 yet, but that's more possible than not. What do I mean by, like, more possible as opposed to less possible? Is what you meant. Is what I meant. What I mean is, these blue coins actually give you hints on where the keys and other secret stuff are. Keep that in mind. But I just mean, yeah, it is what I mean. Less possible being more not possible, right? It's just in terms of 100%ing it, which has to do with getting these things called that are pretty much called relics, and those things, the majority of them have to do with, yeah, like the last set of them have to do with speedrunning. So I hadn't quite mastered that part yet, but I'm sure in enough time we can have that on our plates also, as well as the other titles I'm thinking of, like that one for PS2. There's a few others. Now I wouldn't put Crash Bandicoot 4 in this equation for reasons. Most of them being modern, but at least it's not on the level of Sonic 4, which is just a poor excuse to try to cash in on Retro Sonic. At least Sonic Mania is a better excuse, but the level design is still derivative. But it's fine, I suppose. You know, maybe if you just call it Sonic Megamix. Oh wait. Wait a minute. All the custom Sonic stuff I love just ended up turning into, we're gonna make money on this. And it's like, good job for you. Can I use your level editor, please? Yoshi's Hills. Yes, there's plenty of Yoshi's. Okay. Oh, right. I was wondering what that was. Well, that's either A, Game Wolf had to use the restroom, or B, Game Wolf had to become traffic controller for at least one or two cats. You know when they're going in or out? Nobody knows. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I like how in mods lately, like the music is somehow a direct rip as opposed to just adjusting the Mario sound font, and I kind of like that, but that could have some unintended consequences. But we've gone a far way in importing music into Super Mario World, because early on, when people used to do it, it made it really not compatible with a lot of stuff, and would just break actual Super Nintendos. That doesn't really happen anymore, but there's still fragments of that if you look up older stuff, older Mario mods. That they exist. You're probably gonna have a hard time finding them, but I actually use this database for my Mario World needs. And if they don't allow download links, they at least like have the information of what they are, so I can at least check if my files are correct, and that's always good. Hell, it even provides BPS and IPS patches, so it's just like, just in case, because I found exactly one mod where the IPS patch actually mattered more than the BPS patch. You wanna know why? Do you wanna know why it mattered more? Because the BPS patch is designed for one specific file. The IPS can be applied to practically anything, as long as it's in the same bit range. And so that was the difference, because it was the difference between something having a header or something not having a header, and that actually affecting the game's code. And it was really weird, but it's something to think about when you don't think at all. That kind of stuff. Yeah, I suppose a lot of Mario videos is going to be like me talking about Missed Anything, because it's very, very chillax after I'm done. Even doing like the final bits aren't even that bad. It's more like you just kind of have to go through it, and if you mess up, then you just go through it again. Like sooner or later, you're gonna scamboodle through all that shit. It's 'cause ambles, gamers in shambles. Game Wolf beats them with this one simple trick: actually being good. Yeah. I'm glad we have a more passive-aggressive version of someone saying "get good," which is now a skill issue. It's just like, wow, that sounds like a professional diagnosis. But I love how immediately, as soon as someone uses it the wrong way, it's just used as an excuse for everything, including actual luck. So it's just like, yeah. That's what happens when you overuse something in a large group of people, is that it becomes corrupted as to its intended use. Like with the word literally, not meaning literally. Or irony, not meaning irony, ironically. See, you can't quote me on that, because you don't know what I mean either. What if I just get lucky and want to do a quick little game? Yeah, there's no bonus level areas. You know what there is, though? All the bonus stars just turn into extra coins. That's all they do. Your only hope to make more advantage out of this is to try to get the 50 for purposes of a 3-up and halfway to another life. For the most part, these videos will be sorted in half for these worlds. Basically, stop at each fortress and each castle. And each fortress and castle is the same Koopling. The exceptions being when we get to the last world. And the secret world. Just like in the first game, we have this weird World 9 stuff. Also, this music right here, this is why I like to do the Yoshi's Island first, because I feel like I would not be doing myself any favors if I didn't already play Yoshi's Island by this point. I'd be like, come on, I recognize this, let's just go play Yoshi's Island. So, that's one reason I didn't have this out soon. I'm just like, whoa, let me do this first. And that's what's going to happen. with a lot of stuff that reminds me of other things I have yet to do. It's like, let me do that too. In fact, one of the ways I decide what game I'm going to do next is not just by rote memory. It is if I start just randomly or just instinctually thinking of a music from somewhere that sounds like from a game I've played before, I'm like, wait, maybe I should do this. like just the memory of the good level design and music can just set me to be like, let me just go do this. I don't care how hard it is now. I don't care that sounds like a Donkey Kong Country ripoff. I'm here for you. I'm finally back to kick some tail that Donkey Kong doesn't have. It's just a butt. Yeah, that's why Donkey Kong can't go Super Saiyan. He has no tail. Or not Super Saiyan. He can't go Uzaru, a bigger Donkey Kong. The bigger Kong theory. The Big Kong theory. Bakonga. Alright, let's do this for real now. It is cute that the first fortress I do actually has a secret exit. That's not normally a thing that happens so I enjoy it when there's a secret in the fortress. If you recall, I believe that happened while I was playing New Super Mario Bros. Wii also. But not this soon. And anyway, I think it's the only time that happens in this mod. Could be wrong. But it's weird that it still happens to this very day. It's just like, yeah, sorry, guy. I kind of just decided to take this alternate route. Yeah, can you go screw off now? But in this case, that didn't mean much. In the Wii game, it did, because you basically skipped them. Like, pretty much directly. And it's not like when you bypass them through, like, a warp zone or whatever. It's just like, nah, I directly just forget this castle ever existed. Can castles have secret exits? Oh, I have played mods where castles exclusively have secret exits, I think. At least one. But I don't think we're going to have a playthrough of Super Demo World: The Legend Continues, even though that's one of the earliest mods I've ever played. Like, at the time, I had that to choose between, and, like, Super Mario World Plus and Super Mario World: The Second Reality. Like, I only had a handful of Mario World hacks back then, in the early 2000s, and it was just like, well, this is what I got, the fact I have this at all. But then looking back at the level design, well, at least Second Reality kind of polished itself up later, but, you know, those other two things, like, Plus is more of the same, and it's just kind of, I gotta remember to give that a jingle, maybe, but I don't know if I want to. What's the other thing? Is just the Demo Legend Return. Yeah, Super Demo World Legend Return continues. There's a couple things up with that. One is you have to, like, use a bigger amount of cartridge data. That's weird. This is Larry. We know what Larry is. Spitting stuff. I mean, it's a custom Larry boss, but in a Mario 3 style? Yeah, sure, why not? I don't see why not. Ain't no thing. I do like how we have actual hit point counters. Mario mod authors, please give me hit point counters, especially if you're going more than 3 hits. Thank you. That didn't happen here, but it is going to happen later. And the other thing with Super Demo Legend Continues is that it's hard in, like, the wrong ways. I don't know if I can describe it to you, because it's not necessarily what you'd call a typical Kaizo. It is traditional bullshit ROM hack difficulty, which is just someone was very good at the game, but wasn't trying to do it in a meta sort of way. Kind of like just really long levels with, like, no checkpoints. And it's just like, I don't know, man. So I'll see you next time for more of a little chat over the Mario. Since you like this, like and subscribe. I'll be back.